Do you have to remineralize the water? I heard Celtic sea salt and bicarbonate of soda. A small bit to charge the water as distilled water cannot be absorbed by the cells. Mary, that's a fantastic question actually, because it brings me to cover a couple of things actually that we wouldn't have talked about in the distilled water video. That's what Mary's referring to. So there's yes and no's to the question. I'll do it in a few parts, okay? So distilled water, it can be absorbed by the cells, right? The only way you incur a problem there is if you don't have those minerals in your diet. You'd have to be living solely off distilled water for it to be a problem for your body, right? So distilled water, while it's taking out the bad stuff, it's taking out a bit of the good stuff too. Although I don't know how much of that is left these days, to be totally honest, lads. So distilled water wouldn't have calcium and magnesium. You'd need them for your bone health, your electrolyte balance, proper nerve function, right? And there's a theory then that the distilled water is so pure that it's almost that it leaches, that it can leach kind of those minerals from your cells, right? Now I don't tend to worry about that because I know that I replenish those minerals like through my diet and through supplements, right? So I know that I have those things in my body and I'm feeling better than I ever have. So those things can be replaced in your body through your diet, through your supplements, right? They're going to go back into your body naturally anyway, unless you're living solely on distilled water. Now, if anybody is worried that, oh, you know, I'm losing out on this, or I don't have this, or maybe I don't eat this, maybe I can't eat this vegetable or this type of thing, okay, that's fine. There's ways to combat that too, right? So you can add stuff back into your water to remineralize it, right? Now, the simplest and easiest way to do that, I've never heard of bicarbonate of soda, but the simplest and easiest way to do that, right? Pure Himalayan rock salt. This is from Aldi. Now it's specially selected, but it's not particularly expensive, like, or whatever, right? This stuff, it's as simple as that, right? Here, give me 2 seconds. Sorry about that there. Someone at the door. Now, so, right. Some people do also advocate for using Irish Celtic sea salt, right? That's fine too. This is far more readily available and it's actually the one that's more recommended, okay? So pink Himalayan rock salt, right? It contains in it a lot of natural minerals that we can easily replace that might be lost during distilled water, but it's not going to replace any of the bad stuff, the fluoride or the chemicals or whatever. Do you get me? So these things are easily, you know, got around. And it's great that you brought it up. So for anyone that's worried about anything like that, right? Get yourself one of these. You can get them in Aldi and Lidl. They're not particularly expensive and it's stronger than regular salt. So if you're cooking with it or you're putting it on your dinner or whatever, which is all the things that I do, don't use as much of it because it's stronger, right? So it might be a little bit more expensive than getting the other shite, but it'll last you longer and it'll be so much better for you, right? And you've multi-uses now, okay? So this stuff, right, contains potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium chloride. So if you add this, right, I mean, like literally you'd be talking about a little pinch, right? And you could just drop it into your glass of water. That will do it. That will help the absorption of the water into your cells if you're worried that you're not absorbing. Another way to help your cells absorb, remember, was the pine needle tea that I said? That helps your, you know, your blood cells and your red blood cells to absorb everything as well. Now, an even easier way, right, is to get a bit of it, right, put it under your tongue and leave it there. Now, if I sit down, the reason for doing this, right, is that if you put it under your tongue first thing in the morning, before you even have a drink of water, then when it all starts to melt down and dissolve, now I put a good few pieces in there, right, it starts to melt down and dissolve, then you drink your water afterwards. And the salt beforehand helps your water, helps all your cells to absorb the water that's coming, right? Now, if I did that, right, with this yolk, don't even ask me why that's in the back of my cupboard. I don't know, probably from yesteryear when I wasn't awake. But if I did that with even a small bit of that, I'd be like, ugh! Right? You wouldn't be able for it. This stuff is stronger, but it's purer. So it's a completely different salt taste. Once it's all dissolved, right, then just drink your water. I have a big bottle, but you know, for the sake of the video. And that's all you need to do. It's as simple as that. I've heard of people putting lemon juice in as well, but I've seen nothing anywhere to kind of, you know, prove its relevance or anything that it does other than maybe the taste. But that's simply all you have to do if you want to remineralize your body. So, thank you very much for that question, and happy health, guys.